Good day, Africa. You're welcome to the African Student Voices show on AAU TV. And AAU TV is the voice of higher education in Africa. We are coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. My name is Nkonimadom Kwabena. Today we have a one-on-one with a university president aspirant. He is aspiring for the SRC president at the University of Ghana, Legon. I'm sure you can't wait to know about his aspirations, his mission, and even why he has decided to go for the position of the SRC president. We'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, I will introduce my guest. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the break, and this is the African Student Voices show. And if you can follow the conversation on our social media handles, Association of African Universities on Facebook and YouTube. And of course, as I said before the break, we have a one-on-one today with our esteemed guest. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Yeboah, but I will give you the opportunity to introduce yourself.
All right then. So I'm Nkonimadom Kwabena Yeboah, a level 300 student at the University of Ghana, reading public administration and information studies as a combined major. I'm a debate enthusiast, and so I've been in the University of Ghana Debate Society for the past 3 years. Presented them on a national stage. That's the Ghana University Debate Championship. A public speaking finalist and the overall best new educator. I'm a member of the Elizabeth Francis Hall. And also in the departments I am in, public administration. I'm the secretary of the finance committee and the academic committee head for the information studies department as well. Lastly, I'm the minority leader for the University of Ghana Parliament House and an aspirant for UGSRC president.
Okay. I'm interested in the last part. So that's where we'll pick the conversation from. I mean, we are aware that you are aspiring to be the SRC president, the incoming SRC president for the University of Ghana. What inspired you?
So the inspiration did come very early. That's in my first year. And it had to do a lot with having a plan concerning sustainability on campus. So going to classes, having lecturers tell you that the student voices have been undermined for so long a time. It's not as vibrant as it used to be in subsequent or previous years. And so all these things happen to shape my perception as to what student leadership should look like. And so I realized that we wanted to redefine what it meant to have the SRC on its feet, actually responding to the needs of students in a consistent manner, such that people can have trust in the student leadership once again, and in the long run have a certain level of accountability, where there are no questions as to how funds are being managed, what exactly these funds are being used for, and everyone can attest the fact that they're used in the best interest of students.
You're sure about that?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you've been mentioned of quite a number of roles that you have taken, or you have been in, or you're still in. Run us through, I mean, some of these leadership roles that you hold currently at the university, and how these are or have fueled your energy to going in for the SRC president aspirant.
Right, so I'll start with my role as the minority leader for the University of Ghana Parliament House. So the University of Ghana Parliament House has an apolitical structure. In that sense, it's not dependent on the party in which you are affiliated to, if you're in the majority or the minority. That in itself breeds a certain level of a situation that prevents any level of discrimination based on party lines and all of that. But in that particular space, what I've been able to develop is a greater sense of confidence, because I'm always the first speaker on my side of the house. In that sense, no matter what the other side brings to the table, I'm always supposed to either antagonize or be a protagonist for any idea that comes to that particular space. So what that teaches me to do is that most often in the most crowded of spaces, on the most smallest of spaces where I can't really bring out arguments, I've got to find a way to bring out an argument. So that, I believe, has built a certain level of readiness to take on any challenge that is brought before me. So no matter the antagonists that are in that particular situation, I know I've got to think. and of course come out of the box and to bring out something that is niche to everyone in that particular space. Even in that, I realized that I've got to work with so many people. So in itself has taught me to be able to network better, to be able to depend on people, even as they depend on me in that particular sense. So I'm not a superhuman being or a super being that would do extraordinary things on my own, but how to work effectively with all these people. And also, we're leaders in the caucus. The people who are considered to be common floor members. In that sense, how do I build these individuals? Even not to just be like me, but to model just to be like the best speakers in the house, that particular sense. So that's the very first one, which is the role as the minority leader of the University of Ghana Parliament House. I've also been a part of the vetting committee of the house as well. In that sense, I know a lot of people because of the campaigning I'm doing, but I've learned to find a way to work being in an unbiased manner, right? So I know a lot of people I'm vetting, but I've got to be straightforward. I've got to ensure that we're bringing in the best people into the house and not just my friends. It can be difficult, but the most important thing is that we've got to sustain the house and give the best of quality as possible. So this one particular space that has really been of good use to me, that's the Parliament House and being a minority leader as well. The last thing I could say from this house has to be with a certain level of balance. Okay, so being active in 2 departments, in the debate society as well, and now adding up as the minority leader hasn't been an easy task. But then it always taught me to ensure that I was able to prioritize the most important things at every point in time. Because the SRS is a very big conversation. So then how then are you going to be able to navigate your path through that particular space to ensure that you're going to judiciously use all the resources given to you and in a sense perform at every point in time. So this is what I can basically say about the rules and what they've been able to do to me as an individual and as an aspirant.
Okay, so I believe you are currently still in these roles.
Currently?
Still, I mean, having or still in these roles, right?
Yeah, all these roles.
So how are you juggling through, I mean, your course assignment, the academics, your aspirations, I mean, aspiring for the SRC president and being the minority leader at Parliament, and also having these more roles that you play? How do you juggle through and still make sure that all these roles have you as 100% and your effort, your knowledge, or whatever has to be done in these roles needs to be done? How do you juggle through that?
Right, so I'll answer this by starting with the quotes I heard from a man of God. And he said that the world is ruled by tired people. Right? So when I began and everything looked so hectic, I was wondering, how am I going to sustain all this momentum and achieve the goal in the end? And so I had to psych my mind that tiredness was inevitable, stress was inevitable. So I realized that in the midst of all these things, I've got to find people that are reliable, that I can count on, and I can be vulnerable to. So I've got people that advise me on certain decisions to take. I've got friends that alert me when we've got assignments to do, which I'm not aware of because of the numerous activities I'm involved in. And so to do all these things has to do with a certain level of sacrifice. I don't sleep as I used to. I could go a whole day and sleep just 4 hours, mainly because I've got things to complete. And so friends have been instrumental. I've got very dedicated people I could give so many tasks to do, and they're going to do it as excellently as possible. But beyond these things is not just because they are friends, but it's also because they've been able to buy the vision that I carry. So communication has been one of the most successful things for me. Because I've been able to communicate to them, to have them buy into the vision. They've been able to support as often as possible. And so beyond that has to be discipline as well. I mean, sleeping 4 hours, waking up and feeling as tired as possible. It's not easy to get down from the bed, but every single point in time, I make sure that there is no room to debate whether I've got to step out or not. It's a must, and I've got to do that. So I've got so many alarms on my phone just to make sure I've got to get up as early as possible, do what I've got to do.
Okay, so now let's come to the real focus of this interview or this discussion. I mean, you are aspiring to be an SRC president for the University of Ghana. What mission, or what is your mission or vision for leading this whole presidency? What mission do you have for, I mean, the school and the students at large?
Right. So I think I mentioned early on about a certain level of accountability and trust being built in student leaders. Right. So in that particular sense, I've noticed that there's so many plans that leaders on campus have for their institution.
Okay.
But the issue then is that there's a disconnect between the student body and the student leaders.
Yeah.
Why? Because the student body is not fully aware of the activities, the plans, not just about the plans and the activities, but how to implement the plans that they say they have for the university or the student bodies. So you go into rooms to campaign and you hear people always complain that people said they will do ABC, but they're not doing anything of that sort. And not just that, but they have not heard why they are not doing the things they said they were going to do. And that's basically what my plan is, to ensure that there's a wide sense of openness from management, student leaders, all the way down to the least of students on campus. Where students are able to acknowledge that even beyond talk, even beyond policies, these student leaders are able to explain how to implement the policies that they say they are going to implement. So that people are not going to throw their support behind us because probably we've got certain features or so, but they're going to throw the support behind us because we're able to provide analysis, strategic analysis, as to how we're going to make the promises that we've declared come to fruition. Secondly, based on time frames. I realize there's so many plans and policies are being just stated in a vacuum without allocating time frames where people can hold us accountable if those time frames are elapsed. In that sense, if I'm going to miss a time frame, people can call me out and see that in 2 weeks you say we're going to do this,
but
2 weeks has passed, you've not done it. And then in that particular sense, I realized that I'm always going to be on my toes. Right? I'm always going to be on my toes because people are watching, people are fully aware of what my plans are, and if I've missed it, they can hold me accountable.
That's true.
But even what's more beautiful about that is that if I've not been able to meet that time frame or that timeline, I can explain to them why I wasn't able to do it. But secondly, not just end with excuses, but provide an alternative mechanism to achieve the goals in the long run. If not so, provide a further time frame through understanding with the police. Thirdly, I could speak of the scope of impact. We've got satellite campuses that are affiliated to the University of Ghana. You go there and they feel like they're not part of the University of Ghana. It's very bad, very terrible as a student leader who goes in there to communicate with them. And it's as if they are lost as to what the University of Ghana has for them. And so I think the answer to the solution to something of that sort is to ensure that for every plan, for every policy that has been stipulated, every campus, every student affiliated to the University of Ghana is included in all these things. I'm giving all these criteria, and I say this everywhere to make people understand that we're not just here to speak, but we're ready to work. And to the last thing, which is, I believe, the most important thing in relation to my plans for the SRC, is to build a structure for the SRC and not just an administration. An administration ends in just a single year. But the question then is, what can be done to keep the SRC functional for subsequent years? In that sense, don't build a structure for my administration. Build a structure for the SRC that every administration would have to fit into. Not the SRC, fit into the administration's plans. In that sense, we build a structure that can consistently respond to the needs of students. Most students say that they solved one issue and we've not heard from them in months. So how do we ensure that everyone feels heard? And not just heard, but everyone who has been heard has an adequate response to what their questions and plights were in the long run. So this is basically my metric, my 4 metric for the SRC as a vision for the University of Ghana.
I think you made mention of the fact that people, or let me say the students and the student leaders, do not connect properly, and in the sense that sometimes when there are issues, I know the university body, the SRC body is there to be a liaison between the students and then the administration. So how do you intend to bridge that gap? Because sometimes you realize that the plight of the students are quite a lot, and their plights are not sent properly to the administration for them to be solved. And you made mention of the fact that you would want to bridge this gap and then let the students and the administration understand each other for that collaboration. How do you intend to do that? Every SRC, I hear aspirant to come around and say they would want to pick the plight of students and then give it to the administration. I mean, for issues to be solved and all that. How do you intend to? Are you not going to just be, I mean, one of those who just came to say whatever they want to say? But I just want to know how you intend to bridge that gap, because that gap is quite difficult, or has been difficult for, I mean, other people to do.
All right. So the solution to this particular issue has to do with a certain level of openness, which I had said earlier on. Now, that openness basically has to do with students being able to have first-hand information as to what the real issues on the ground are. So, for example, you've got city campus.
Yeah.
And city campus students mostly complain about the fees that they're paying, which is probably 2 times what main campus students are paying. First thing, they've not got enough accommodation.
Yeah.
They have to do the hybrid system of online classes and in-person classes, which is very inconsistent. They've got issues where lecturers are not coming to class often and they don't know who to report to.
It is true.
So in this particular situation, the reason why they're still complaining is not because they're not people who are assigned to solve these issues, but it's because the people who are assigned to solve these issues have not given them any adequate feedback about what they've got to do. So my plan is basically to ensure that, if nothing at all, intermittently, there are meetings where we can effectively discuss the problems that we are facing. Not just intermittent meetings to discuss issues, but intermittent periods to address the issues that have been discussed, bringing about solutions to what the problems the people said they had were. In that particular sense, there's a narrative, or there's a particular session annually where we have a day with the VC.
Okay.
Then I pose this question most often. If you've got 365 days and you spend a day out of the 365 days with your VC for her to address a number of issues, do you think that is enough for all the problems that we're facing? First off, I believe it's not enough.
That's true.
But secondly, after that day with the VC where you're going to discuss the issues that you are facing, is there another day which is able to discuss the plans to solve the issues you are facing? That's the missing piece, where people are going to understand that they have heard us, and these are the solutions that they've decided to employ to ensure that our problems are solved in the long run. That's the missing piece. And I think the last thing to addressing the issues that we're facing has to do with the platforms where we disseminate a lot of information.
Okay.
So there's one issue that the University of Ghana faces, and that basically has to do with applicants. When it comes to the University of Ghana, if you don't have someone who is a friend and has the ability to take you through the process, there's a likelihood that you're going to miss your path.
Okay.
So if not for student activists like myself who have interest in helping people, so many people would have been lost while applying to the University of Ghana. So my solution is simple. So everyone that purchases a form from a bank, put the code that they can scan to join a WhatsApp platform.
Okay.
Or for WhatsApp community or WhatsApp channel, where they can be abreast with every level of information concerning the applications in the University of Ghana. This in itself solves the problem of misinformation and disinformation in the University of Ghana. Beyond this, have a channel where you disseminate all the plans and activities that the SRC is engaged in. Because the SRC does a lot of things, but people are not aware
of it.
Then the question then I ask is, how are they not aware? Because they're aware of the programs the SRC does, but they're not aware of the plans concerning sustainability that the SRC embarks on. What's the missing piece? It's the level of publicity for the progress being made and not just the programs being organized.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the conversation. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the break, and if you just joined us, this is African Student Voices on AAU TV. You can follow the conversation on our social media handles, Association of African Universities, on Facebook and YouTube. You're welcome back from the break. Okay, so before we went on break, I mean, we were talking about how you would want to bridge the gap between the administration and then the student. I mean, coming back to you still, I know that you coming or resuming or wanting to be an SRC president, you might have some particular areas on campus that you feel very passionate about. what are some of these things that you would want to prioritize in your administration?
All right. So the first thing that I want to prioritize has to do with instilling a certain level of maintenance culture on campus.
Okay.
The issue with Legon campus is not that we don't have facilities. We've got a lot of facilities, but first off has to do with the maintenance culture on campus. We've got so many buildings that are old. We've got so many buildings that have the paints getting off and all of that. But then there's no conversation as to how we're going to sustain these buildings, how we're going to sustain these facilities or infrastructure on campus. So that's the very first thing, because you see washrooms that deteriorated. You see washrooms in the worst of shape. One reason why they're in the worst of shape is because probably people don't get enough water all the time. Why don't they get water? Because they've paid fees for water. These are very simple things that if they are answered or addressed, the school would be in a very good shape in the long run. So maintenance culture is the very first thing.
Okay.
So the second one has to do with problems like accommodation on campus. So many students are asking, we've paid SRC hostel dues, we've paid so many dues, but we don't see where the hostels are going to be built or when they're going to be built and all of that. And I tell them that the reason why people are in unrest towards accommodation crisis on campus is because they don't know if the school has a plan to solve it. Right? If I'm a non-resident, but I'm aware that the school has a plan to solve it, I would be in a state of rest. Because even though I don't have accommodation right now, I know the school is working actively to solve that problem issue in the long run. So even if we have not embarked on it yet, let us have insight as to what your plans to solve those problems are. In that sense, people can believe that you are working towards solving this crisis that has been on campus for so long a time. So accommodation is the second thing that I'm looking forward to do. Thirdly, basically has to do with the clubs and societies on campus. Most often they seem to be like minorities on campus, mainly because they do not get enough support or unconditional support. Enough support or unconditional support. So I'm in the University of Ghana Debate Society, and sometimes we do not get enough funding to go to certain places because in previous competitions, we didn't perform as they expected us to perform. But me being in the society, I've realized that every time we went out, every performance was justified. Right? So how do you build a structure where people are assured of support regardless of certain outcomes? In that sense, for societies or clubs that need funding to go out and put our name, the University of Ghana, out there, I believe that the SRC should be able to prioritize such individuals or such societies and push them whenever they have the resources to do such things. And for people reading courses that society or the University of Ghana does not really uphold them the highest of regards and esteem, I believe that the SRC can find ways and means to solve these things and increase the value that people have of these individuals. Not just increase the value, but beyond the increments or the creation of value, is the projection of the value. Because the SRC has so much a platform, a great platform, to push anything they want to push. But hardly do you see them push the dancers on campus. Hardly do you ever see them push those in the theater arts department or push people who are doing great things and need a certain level of exposure. So my goal basically is that for societies or for departments and people who are reading certain courses that people feel like are unnecessary on campus, we can go into those spaces, focus on them, build those spaces, and project the development that has gone on in that space. And that's where my slogan, One Leg On, comes from, to ensure that everyone on campus has a certain level of investment towards value creation by the SRC. So we're all on the same page, all with the same value and esteem on campus.
Okay, so I hear your slogan is One Leg On.
One Leg On.
One Leg On. Okay, that's fine. We'll continue with the conversation. So an article was published by My Joy Online, that is on 17th June, and it stated that recently the University of Ghana suspended 14 students and sanctioned 97 others over exam misconduct. And I mean, these issues happen all the time on various university campuses. So as an SRC aspirant, how do you plan to address issues of academic integrity and support students to avoid such situations? This is a very peculiar situation, I should say.
So I think the very first thing when I've been asked this question before, right? And in answering this question, my answer has been straightforward. There are two significant parties involved in such an issue. The first is the university, which is an institution that is known for academic excellence and integrity. What that means is that the moment every student walks into the University of Ghana, you're faced with an agreement that you're going to uphold academic integrity at all points in time. What that means is that the school's duty is to ensure that any breach of it or an attempt to breach it is well addressed in the best of regards in relation to the code of conduct stipulated in the handbook. Now, to the students, I wasn't there when those activities were being done. So what I can basically say is that we should ensure that there's a platform where these people are being heard. And I believe there already is a platform where they are being heard. And I don't think anyone or any student that engages in this in the first place would own up on the spot that I was engaged in something of this sort. But let's say there's a point where some injustice was being executed. Is there a platform where they can be heard? Of course there is. Even if not on the point or the platform of management, there's an SRC academic committee headed by students on campus that channel the interest of students. In that particular sense, if you have exhausted all the available alternatives, go with the SRC. If nothing at all, they are a representative council. In that sense, when you are voiceless, they've got to be your voice. But what I believe, first off, is the protection of the integrity of the University of Ghana. And us also ensuring that our members, our people on campus, equally would respond to all these code of conduct at all points in time. So I would say I'm going to do a scrap everything, but we've got an academic committee that can respond to that particular issue.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So, I I want to read something here. The University of Ghana management recently made some major decision. And one was reserving traditional halls for first-year students with minimal student input. Now, my question here is, how do you ensure students are genuinely involved in shaping some policies on campus? As a student leader or an aspiring student, SRC president.
Right. So I think this is a very interesting question. I think this is the most important question because everyone wants to be involved in decision making. So concerning things like the General Assembly meetings, where the most delicate of matters are being discussed, I think one issue there is the timing of such meetings. So you can have these meetings happen on Sunday evenings, late in the night, where non-residents, they're at home. So they're not part of decision making. If nothing at all, why don't you record these meetings, put them out there, and give some time where people who are not available can watch?
But how about making it hybrid though?
Pardon?
Hybrid. Those on campus can come in and then those out can join in. Because sometimes even after the meeting, when you ask somebody to now sit down and then listen to a whole meeting that has gone on, don't you think that would be, that would be just...
A tedious something?
Not a tedious thing, but it's a different thing when the conversation is going on and you're participating. And it's also something different when the conversation is done and then now you have to listen through and then pick or note your points down and then liaise or talk to whoever you have to talk to.
Right. So I would have loved that it would be done during the day. On a day where everyone on campus is well informed that this activity is going to take place. So everyone, whether resident or non-resident, you can participate in it actively and in person. But with the hybrid system that you're suggesting, it's a good idea. But we've got online classes where people at their various homes are complaining of connectivity issues. So if that is the case, then how do we ensure that these individuals can also follow live? And that equally means that they've got to come back to campus and watch it, which is not something that's going to happen on a Sunday evening, 9 p.m. So I believe that if you're given the opportunity to have a say, and you don't value that opportunity to go all out and involve yourself in it, then there's nothing that the SRC can do. Because for all you will do, not every student will feel involved.
That's true.
That's true. Some people do not really prioritize activities of the SRC. That is mainly because of a track record that they've experienced. But beyond that, we're trying to put in measures to ensure that people have a lot of trust in the SRC. And in that sense, we create the avenue for those who have interest to really be involved in everything that we have to do as an SRC.
Okay. That's quite interesting. So how do you intend to keep, there are a lot of projects that I'm sure you would want to initiate when you come into office. But then how do you want to keep students updated on these projects? Then I mean, their progress and then where it has gotten to. What measures do you want to put in place, and how, I mean, using these platforms, how do you want to keep the students updated on, I mean, issues, projects, initiatives, and how far they have gone or how far they haven't gone?
Right. So the very first means is to utilize all the social media spaces or handles that the SRC can utilize.
Okay.
So on Snapchat, there's so many platforms that propagate things that go on campus.
Okay.
That's the very first thing. But they come at a cost. I believe the SRC can bear that cost. Right. But beyond that, we can have a summary or a recap of everything that has gone on. Just a video of it, a short video, 1 minute video, detailing the progress of meetings, the progress of projects and everything that the SRC is involved in.
Okay.
How do we disseminate all these things? Most of the lecture halls or lecture rooms on campus are now having screens over there. So you don't even need a projector as a screen. You just have a pen drive, you fix it in, and you can have a video that details everything that the SRC is involved in. And I believe that just as student activists or aspirants have the chance to go into classes before the lecture begins, and you can address the class within 5 minutes. If the video is a minute, I don't think it's going to be anything difficult. So it's just utilizing the various people who are part of the SRC from all the committee levels to ensure that they're going out there, we're delegating certain classes, departments to people to ensure that they can go there and inform the people of what the SRC is doing. The various JCRs, the departmental presidents, the executives in those departments can champion such interests because first off, they got the masses to get into office. And that means that they got the masses to propagate the agenda of the SRC. I don't believe that the JCRs and the executives of various departments and halls should be separated from the SRC. We are all a part of it because we are the Students' Representative Council.
Okay.
Yes, please.
I mean, university politics, I know, I mean, for Legon, I know it comes with a lot of challenges, pressure, criticisms, and then how, I mean, and then all that. How do you personally overcome, I mean, how do you personally handle challenges or feedbacks when they come to you?
So I spoke with PK Mobbing just a few weeks ago, and his answer to most of these things was resilience, which I've used all this while. Because personally, the reason why I didn't come into the scene early on was mainly because I heard of very dirty things that go on with the SRC. I wanted to keep my peace and be in my own small space. But then I realized, if this is how things should go on, and everyone has a wrong or corrupted narrative about the SRC, when can people benefit fully from the SRC? So I took up that charge. And all this while, what I've done is to ensure that I make sure that my goal is fixed. My eyes are fixed on the vision, which is to ensure that the average person on the University of Ghana campus can attest to the fact that our SRC is trustworthy. So when there are lies, when there are controversies, when they pop up, I consider two things. Is this particular thing going to improve upon our agenda, increase our publicity in the right way, or it's not? Is it something that is going to waste our time? If something that's going to waste our time, I will not spend a second on it. I'll just keep up with my work. But one thing I've made sure is that everyone in my circle is aware of everything that I'm doing. So when a situation pops up, they can stand in for me because they know who they are working with, they know who they have to trust in. So it's been there, but I'm resilient.
Okay. So, I mean, we are almost coming to the end of the discussion, but finally, I want to know what message you would like to share to students who are willing to support you in this journey.
So, for every student who has interest in the SRC and would have interest in supporting me, my message is simple. Let's not look at just the words. Let's go right into questioning and scrutinizing every set policy and every attempt to implement the policies. If nothing at all, we should find a way to build a structure that does not just end with me, but a structure that can consistently respond to the needs of students on campus. In that particular sense, I am not the main topic. I'm not the center of attraction, but the center of attraction is the SRC that we have worked to build and create a certain level of trust from the student body. In that sense, it's not about me. It's about us. And that's what we're working towards, to ensure that the One League One agenda is fully materialized and utilized for the good of the University of Ghana.
All right, the One League One agenda. Thank you so much, Mr. Yeboah, for coming. It's been an interesting conversation. So this has been African Student Voices, and it's been an interesting conversation. We look forward to Mr. Yeboah, of course, winning as the SRC president. We'll come your way same time next time. My name is Nkonimadom Kwabena Yeboah. Have a lovely day.